I've exposed myself to far, far more of Yakuza Like a Dragon, and as a result have far, far more to say about it. I do understand now, at least, why people like the game. It's got an inspirational and creative premise. It follows a bunch of middle-aged fellows who learn that life doesn't end when you hit 40, and it's never too late to realize your true self. They go on a wild rags-to-riches adventure, wherein they climb the social ladder as an equivalent to leveling up in a JRPG. It's cute and heartwarming, but it's also done very poorly. The sheer amount of exposition in this game is unbearable. Characters spill their life stories at a pin's drop, and you're never allowed to figure anything out for yourself because the entire plot is explained to you like you're sitting through a lecture. On top of that, the game's got no idea how to fluctuate tone. There are crazy elements and then there are serious elements, and the game intends to mix both, but the serious elements are already so crazy that it feels pointless. Sure, it's funny that Ichiban's wild imagination transforms random folks into JRPG baddies, but how is that any less goofy than beating up people to solve their problems in the first place? Like a Dragon seems to think that beating up people to solve their problems is normal for some reason. But regardless of what tone you get, you're absolutely guaranteed to suffer through stiff, awkward dialogue. None of the conversations in Like a Dragon flow naturally. Rather than segue properly from one topic to another, scene transitions are used to mask poor writing. Cutscenes frequently fade to black, and then when they fade back in, the characters are now discussing something completely different, in the same room, with no other notable changes. Not even a time skip. In filmmaking, this would be rightfully ridiculed. The only saving grace to the story are the excellent voice performances, though that isn't saying much, yeah? When the animation is wooden and uncanny, and the writing is flat and uninspiring, fun voices offer very little solace. The most fun I had with these cutscenes was rewriting them in my head to make them flow better. And sure, whatever, bad storytelling is all well and good, but what about the gameplay proper? Well, Like a Dragon is one of the most dull turn-based RPGs imaginable. The combat is functional, but any unique elements are stamped out by brain-dead enemies and an over-reliance on stat-focused gameplay. Oftentimes a battle's outcome has far more to do with whether you're the right level than how well you plan out strategies. But even if a fight does require genuine thought, it's equal or lesser than the effort you'd put into playing literally any other JRPG. The enemies are also utterly incompetent, using moves at entirely inappropriate times, often sabotaging themselves. If you pay half a span's worth of attention and offer even one iota of critical consideration, you'll blast through the combat like it's nothing. But how's the open world aspect? Well, it's more checklists with icons on a map and big glowing markers like every other modern free roaming game. I hate objective markers with a passion. I think they discourage genuine exploration and encourage the creation of lazy, samey, bland open worlds with no personality or distinguishable landmarks. Objective markers aren't exactly at their worst in Yakuza Like a Dragon, but they're pretty terrible. No matter how much context you're missing, or whether you or your characters have even heard of the next location, a big neon pink arrow tells you where to go at all times. Icons and waypoints litter the map, signifying anything of interest, which boils the game down to a list of objectives, not an interactive playground. It kills immersion and makes the whole thing feel like a chore. Playing Shenmue 3 alongside Like a Dragon really opened my eyes to how much better open world experiences could be. We could be experiencing real, lived-in worlds through the eyes of unique characters, but instead we get a conveyor belt of senseless overstimulation meant to keep us sedate and addicted. The Shenmue series and even the original Yakuza understood far better the importance of letting the player explore and discover by themselves, rather than being told where to go and how to play. And yeah, I also played the minigames in Like a Dragon. Tried genuinely to engage with them at first. They were okay, I guess, but the more you dilute an experience, the less focused it feels, and I prefer elegant art which has valuable and interesting things to say. It doesn't help that many of the minigames don't at all understand the media and concepts they're parodying. So not only are they vestigial, but they're classless. The game's sheer magnitude is also a point of frustration for me. It's an imposing experience with excessive padding, lengthy cutscenes, and very low highs. There's a guide on the internet which comically states the first dungeon is unlocked very early on. How early is very early, you might ask? It's well over 10 hours into the game. Games like Yakuza Like a Dragon make me worried that people don't understand how precious time is. I'm not looking for media which sucks my hours away like a vampire. I'm looking for media which uses my time to show me compelling new worlds and new experiences. I did receive a degree of catharsis from seeing other folks who had similar issues with the game, but overall, I'm just grateful I'll never be touching Like a Dragon again.